Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tyrone back with Tech Life. And here we have another great article from Mike over at Light Reading. I will leave it in the description down below. So I needed to talk about this, right? So this is probably going to be a longer video. A lot of stuff transpired over the last 24 to 48 hours. You guys saw my video on well, for those of you who watched the video, you saw what I put out on Sunday. Major changes inbound, right? So I was already made aware that this was going to happen, but I was told not to speak on it. And, several other things that I was made aware of as well. So, the title is very interesting of this article. It says Verizon's Hans Vestberg, I'll just do it myself. Of course, that's a organic title by Mike Dano. That is not actually what Hans Vestberg said. But let's not take on this type of attitude that, hey, I'm Hans Vestberg. If you guys can do it, I'll just have to do it myself. Let's not take on that type of attitude. For one, Hans is the one that created that position. The CEO of Verizon Consumer Group, Hans is the one that created that position. And two, Hans has seen every single change that Ronan or Manon wanted to make. He either approved them or he has shut them down. So he has had his hands in everything. So, like I keep saying in my videos, unless Hans is planning on doing a price decrease, which according to another article that I was reading and including this one at the UBS conference, apparently he's hinted at some pricing changes that could come where he potentially on one end does a price decrease and then in another section he does a price increase to cover inflation. Now, I don't know how they're going to spin this into the market. It's going to be very confusing for some. Just for an example, let's say he raises rates again for existing customers, but he brings in heavy promotions and maybe a cheaper price on the plan for new customers to grow that side of the business. That's going to tick people off. So in my opinion, that would be a huge negative to start off 2023. Because I don't think right now, as close as we are to finishing Q4, I don't think any other changes are coming that directly affect Verizon's business. Other than her stepping down, which, a lot of people are saying it's very abruptly and that she's leaving too quickly. But, Hans made the decision. They're publicly stating that she's stepping down, but you guys know behind closed doors, there was likely something else where they were like, okay, I'm just going to step down because you're not willing to change. And that's what I'm hearing. Again, don't quote me on it. What I'm hearing is it all starts with Hans. Every single thing that we're seeing transpire, it all starts with Hans. I am quite positive that Ronan and even Manon had a business strategy for the consumer group that included a lower price. Not much, $10. Maybe one or the other. It said, let's just include taxes and fees. And it sounds like to me that Hans is a yes man, and he did not agree with that. And he's stating that, again, that the focus is on the core premium wireless group. That is not working. It hasn't worked. Look at Q1, look at Q2, look at Q3. Q4 numbers are not out yet. They have taken a loss in the first 3 quarters of the year. Hans has not been challenged one time by the board of directors. Hans has been making moves left and right? Tammy Irvin is gone. She's being replaced. Ronan is out. He got replaced, and now that person that replaced Ronan Dunn is stepping down. So Hans has no immediate replacement for that position. So he's in the meantime going to run it himself, which is, kind of like whatever. Nothing's going to change in the short term. They likely fill that position in the new year? Yeah, maybe. They might fill that position in the new year. But for now, I just think a lot of blabber from Hans, no action, and it needs to change. I can tell you guys right now, if Verizon were to take on any type of larger growth volume, they would have a insanely huge problem because of customer service. Their customer service is rotten at the core. So people would join the company just to find out how horrible customer service is and then potentially leave. So they have big, big, big problems. And that's why I still stand by my position that T-Mobile overall is going to eat Verizon's lunch. Again, you guys have heard me. If we're going network by network, Verizon wins all day long. But if we're talking the retail distribution strategy and retail strategy in general, if we're talking pricing, if we're talking customer service overall, and I'm talking at a large scale, not individual experiences, T-Mobile wins all day long. There are some stores now for Verizon that are taking appointments only, that close at 5 p.m., like a doctor's office. Where they do that at? And especially now as T-Mobile moves into these rural towns, they are going to win. And Hans said that he's looking to close that competitive pressure or that competitive gap. He can, at this point, at this juncture, he can only do so by dropping price. That is the only way that he's going to bring additional pressure into the market. He's already tried the phone promos. It hasn't really worked, right? Are they going to get some positive momentum in Q4? Maybe, we'll see. But that hasn't really worked. They've been doing phone promos in Q1, Q2. They've done the, if your phone is broken, bring it in. They've done all that. And it hasn't worked. There has not been one quarter where they came out and said, hey, on the consumer side, we grew 600,000 customers. The only vector that they grew that was consumer related was fixed wireless access. And even that didn't really result in high percentage of customers choosing wireless. They just chose fixed wireless access and that's it. So Hans has a big problem on his hands, and I think it's almost time. He is on his last legs. The fact that the executive team around him are stepping down, that he's had already multiple changes in the executive team, which, the board of directors usually allows, like, hey, look, this is not going good. We will give you, 2 or 3 changes that you can make executive wise. And if it still doesn't change, then, you're it. You're the CEO of the company. We will let you go if this doesn't change. So now, Hans is potentially making another change under 1 year. See, Manon hasn't implemented any of her strategies. We never got to see Play Plus come into fruition. That's still, I don't even know if that's still gonna come. We never got to see her implement any different retail strategy. Maybe she had her hands on Apple One, that new plan, but that's a big if. That may have those types of agreements and partnerships don't happen overnight. So that may have been Ronan that already had that in the works before Manon got into the position. So we never got to see her implement anything, I don't think. We never got to see the full strategy of track phone unfold. That's still up in the air. So just very tough times at Verizon right now. And Hans is not making it any better. So let me know what you think about this in the comment section down below. I know there's a lot of negatives around Verizon, but that's just how it is right now. We have to speak up about it, and they have to change. Right now, they are not changing. Everything is still the same. They're still priced the same. They're still moving the same. They still do the same on the retail. They still close stores at 5. Some are closed on Sundays. I mean, T-Mobile is eating their lunch. And quarter after quarter after quarter, that's just going to add up more and more and more. So let me know what you think about this in the comment section down below. Make sure you guys stay tuned to the channel. Like, share, subscribe. Follow my social media outlets. This is Tyrone with Tech Life, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.